cold open. So we got a bit of a quick episode today.
Always.
Because we are eternally busy and never free.
Yeah, it's actually really rare. I did have that whole week off, but I still couldn't find time.
Yeah, I mean, every time I've got a week off, you're busy, and every time you've got a week off, I'm busy. So we're always just powering through stuff. But at least we haven't got assessments. Well, technically, I still have a lot of assessments.
I still have a lot of assessments. That has not changed.
For this beautiful show, we find the time.
Yes, we're finding the time a lot less often, though, and I'm sorry about that. But also, what's an Australian thing that doesn't have issues with regular uploads? Because I have not... Code Bullet, fabulous YouTube, has not seen him consistently.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Anyone that's Aussie struggles with an upload schedule. That's just the way the world works.
It's the way it is. Some would argue us Aussies must be busier, but I wouldn't want to start any sort of fights here.
Oh, yeah, no, we're definitely not busier. We're just lazy. Fortunately, though, we've got an episode that's kind of light on implications.
It's The Wizard of Oz. The Wizard of Oz? You know that show with the witches and the house and Dorothy and a dog and the red things?
I have heard of it. It's pretty good.
Well, this is the Phineas and Ferb edition. And
it's very much just the same story, but slightly different. And it's also one of those all a dream things, which means that there's not a lot of actual concrete implications to really explore, but I have got a couple.
There's some between
notes,
the beginning and end. Most of it is just...
Oh, do you know what we've forgotten?
The intro, yeah.
Intro.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Implications of Phineas and Ferb podcast.
There's 365 days in a gap year, and Uni's gonna come and end it. So the once in a lifetime problem for us is to find a good way to spend it.
Making a podcast.
Welcome back to the Implications of Phineas and Ferb, where we discuss the implications of Phineas and Ferb. Except this episode, it's the Wizard of Oz, and there's not many implications because it's all just Candace being batshit crazy and her own psyche and the dreams she has and how weird it is.
Yeah, Candace needs to see a therapist, I'm going to say.
Candace is kind of fucked. Hang on, I'm going to do something. 2 seconds. Ugh.
And he's gone. I'm padding for time. What's he doing? Haven't got a clue.
Candace's mental state's really holding her back, and I do think she needs...
Yeah, 100%. She, she's got a lot of issues with around the boys and their busting and all of that sort of stuff. And they manifest.
Yeah, she's focusing way too much on them than on her own life.
She, so, right off the bat, one of the only concrete implications in the episode, because it's pre-dream, the boys wash the house. And the way that they...
Yeah, they clean the house.
Yeah, they clean the house. And the way that they do that is they've put the entire house on a stand that can hold it up in the air and then spin it so that they can just hold a power washing hose at it and just...
Yeah, just nice even strokes, guys, remember? So they just power blast the entire house as it spins. And they warn Candace, but I'd probably evacuate her because I feel like being inside the house at that point would be very dangerous.
Yeah, 100%. But they
also,
just leave
everything would have to be strapped down.
Yeah, the centrifugal force would just be insane.
Yeah, it's centripetal force, but that's all right.
Sorry, I don't know my names, but you know. And also, you're going to say your thing about how it's an imaginary force.
Yeah, it's a fictitious force.
Yeah,
it doesn't
but
exist.
G-forces are not.
Centrifugal force. Pardon?
G-forces are not, and there would be a lot of G's when you were spinning around that
thing, right?
Yes,
you would feel a lot of G's with the speed that shit was spinning. That was fucking intense. She could have been standing on the side of the walls, which would have been very cool until, her head went through her spine as the force just crushed her.
Yeah, she'd be just smushed.
Smooshed.
R.I.P. Candace, 2007 to 2010, I'm going to say.
What do you mean when this episode came out?
Yeah, probably 2010.
No, it would have been 2009, I guess.
Yeah.
These guys had a consistent schedule. They knew what they were doing. Theirs was once a week.
And there's a lot.
At least.
We're willing to devote some time to record an episode of this podcast every week, but we are sure as fuck not going to devote time to Googling when season 2 of the show came out.
drawing an episode each week?
Oh, it's
Holy
not.
shit.
Phineas and Ferb isn't drawn. It's computer animated.
Isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
But you have to draw like some of it.
Yeah, I mean, you still draw like on the computer, like you're still using a drawing tablet, but it was quicker because because you could like move things
And
around.
then
with
you have to
posing
get
and stuff.
voice acting.
Mm.
You have to do all sorts of stuff. You have to write it.
Yeah, God, it's a lot of effort. Like I can't imagine.
Okay, and they were like, "How do you wash the house? We do it like this, or we get a bathtub." And they're like, "Where the fuck's the bathtub?
And they're like,
We want to know about this bathtub." Luckily, they thought of that, and they show us the bathtub, and it's the middle of the street, and apparently the city uses it as a reservoir. What?
yeah,
It's a big bathtub, but
yeah, just use a bathtub
Why-
as a reservoir. Why not? Like,
yeah, but why would you have the reservoir in the middle of the street? Also, what happens when he wants to wash the house again? They're like, "Oh, they're using it as a reservoir now." So do they just stop using it as a reservoir and then?
well, maybe they're probably using it for a little bit of extra water because they might be in like a drought or something. So maybe they'll give it back in a little bit. I don't know. They've got a
Yeah,
good
they'll be like,
relationship with the.
We've used the water now.
They've got a good relationship
back
with all the
us.
people that do infrastructure for the city, so it doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, and so then Candace, as she's dying, because of the spinning of the house, she's like, "All right, I'm gonna have a fever dream now from the acid I took last night."
And she sure does, doesn't she? She goes absolutely
And
insane.
she has a good one, and it starts with Suzie getting hit by a house,
which I approve
which,
of.
to be fair, is a great way to start any dream.
Absolutely great. Schadenfreude is the word. Joy from
I have no
the
clue.
suffering of others. It's a German word.
And or when you
Yeah, I
just
100%
watching
enjoyed it.
Suzie suffocate underneath a house makes me feel good.
Yeah, because it's Suzie. She's a little demon child.
Yeah, and she's fine. She's perfectly fine.
Yep.
Just ask her.
There was just a lot of really good jokes about her being trapped under the house, but she's fine.
entrapment.
And she's like, seriously, so I just get to Jack? Get out. And they're like, nope, just ignore that.
Yeah. Just ignore it. She's just going to stay underneath the house
Mm.
now. And so then she gets the boots, red boots,
Yep.
instead of
Instead of-
the red ruby slippers.
Yep.
And Doof wants those red boots.
Interesting bit of trivia, by the way.
Mm.
This is completely unsourced, so literally, if you're listening to the podcast, Google this because it's probably wrong, but I recall hearing it somewhere, and I'm not going to be bothered to fact check it. I recall hearing
God.
somewhere that
This is
the source material for The Wizard of Oz is in the public domain, but the Wizard of Oz movie is not. And the Wizard of Oz movie is where the red shoes were featured, which is why a lot of adaptations, like book adaptations and stuff, change the slippers to silver. Now, I can't remember if it's Disney that owns the rights, so I can't remember.
So do we know what's in the original book? Is there anything in the original book?
Yeah, in the original book,
or-
I'm pretty sure it's silver, which is why the adaptations use silver, like people using it
Oh,
and stuff.
no. And also, didn't they use red ruby slippers because they wanted to show off colour?
Yes,
Because it was
yeah.
one of the first colour movies.
And red really popped, so
Yeah,
Nice.
and Yellow Brick Road.
yeah.
Shit like that.
But I'm pretty sure, because I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that Disney made Oz the Great and Powerful. I think Disney owns the rights to Wizard of Oz now, which means that they were probably able to
didn't they
use it
make
because
Wizard of
Disney also
Oz
make
now?
Phineas and Ferb, as we know.
Yes, our Lord and Saviors.
So, yeah, random trivia about the red boots. Probably Google it, probably wrong. But, you know,
Pray to the Mickey Mouse God.
yes,
That is Disney.
all praise the Mouse House. Disney, we love you guys. Please let us be the,
Anyway,
be the official
so
Phineas and Ferb
Candace is
podcast.
going crazy. Isabel
Oh, she's
is
going
the
batshit
nice
insane.
witch
She's-
who just
she's
is like,
lost it.
yo, walk on the Yellow Brick Road.
And
And
there's also a
then-
brief moment of Phineas and Ferb unfolding the set that this movie
Yeah,
is set
because
in.
Candace is like, Phineas and Ferb must be behind all of this. And then literally behind all of this, as in they pull away the set, is Phineas and Ferb. And they just say, hi, Candace. And she's like, what? And then they move it back, and then she runs past.
She
into
runs
that
into the
reality.
set, and it's like
Um,
there's just a lot
and so
there,
this was-
but it's a dream, so that's
yeah, before
definitely
this
not
was
real.
confirmed to be Candace's crazy mind, that is proper reality manipulation.
Yeah.
By just folding it back. and
Maybe
crap.
this was Phineas and Ferb all playing a really good practical joke on Candace.
Yeah, I would say that, but I think the practical joke was starting the house spin and resulting in Candace's blood loss in her head as she stuck to the
It's
wall.
a very good point.
The-
Very good point.
Flushed to the back of her mind.
So powering through it, Isabella sings a song because Isabella's the good witch. And Candace is already sick of the singing by the first song, and she probably shouldn't be because there's about 6 more to come.
Yeah, but to be fair, in your own, well, in my head at least, if I'm dreaming and there's a song, I'm not that massive into musicals.
Yeah, I'm
especially
actually
if I have control over it.
I like being in musicals, but I'm not that big of a fan of listening to them. I like a lot of the elements of them, like I like reoccurring motifs, and I like
Yeah, and I don't mind watching a musical, but there's a difference between like watching the musical and then having it in your head when you dream.
Yeah, 100%.
Like that's different, and that's.
I also struggle with a lot of the classic musicals. Like I've never been massive on Wicked, or I've never been massive on like, you know, the really like classic Les Mis type stuff, like the bombastic musicals. I just never been, you know, that big into it. They're a bit classical and they're a bit worship the singer for me.
The only live show with lots of music I liked was Dirty Dancing.
Dirty Dancing is pretty great.
That's because Dirty Dancing is just fan-fucking-tastic. It's an amazing show. Go watch that, people.
But yeah, they
Anyway, continue.
they continue along the Yellow Brick Road.
Felt like this before.
Do us a favour and shut up.
It's the truth. Oh, and I'll to you. All right.
Good
Sorry,
musical.
Continue with the podcast.
Or good music-heavy movie, I guess.
So they, what?
Is Dirty Dancing? Dirty Dancing's not a musical, is it? Because like they don't sing.
It is a musical. Yeah. Oh, they do. Well, they dance.
Yeah,
to music.
they dance to music, but the music is all like diegetic within the film, so I'm pretty sure that doesn't make it a musical. Like it's not like a story where the language is through music. It's music that's playing in the film.
Musical. I think it's just a movie, isn't it?
Just a movie.
It's just a good movie that does lend itself to live performance fairly easily.
Yes.
Okay.
So the entire way along the Yellow Brick Road, the boys are trying to tempt Candace away from just walking along it.
It's a bit weird.
Yeah.
They're like, you could take the Yellow Brick Road, but we have this really cool, fun way. And I'm like, why do you sound like the devil right now? Even though you are using unicorns, and it looks fairly actually pretty cool.
Yeah, and ice skates along a edible path apparently.
Ice cream and bouncy walkway. And Candace is meeting all of the friends along the road, except not a Tin Man. Who is it instead?
A tree. Jeremy's a tree. And they meet a lion, bear, tiger hybrid in Buford.
Instead of just a normal lion.
And I just like to point out, there's hills, like there's ups and downs on Phineas and Ferb's ice skating thing. You can't really ice skate uphill. It's really difficult.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, ice skating uphill is...
Because, I mean, firstly, you need a really smooth and really packed bit of ice to ice skate on. Because you can't ice skate in snow. It has to be ice that's hard enough that you can't cut it. And you don't really... You can't really make that curve. Like, it would be a ridiculous amount of effort.
An uphill ice.
And then...
I've gone down an ice slide before, but that was just in my pants for like a penguin exhibit. It was fun. It was a good time.
And then also the amount of speed you'd gain going downhill would be ridiculous, because your skates are so low friction. Like
you would just fall. You'd not near reach terminal velocity, but
you definitely hit the ground when it did the dip and when it started going back up.
Yeah, your knees would experience a significant amount of force coming when you finally flattened out.
Although it is a lot easier to skate, like rollerblade or roller skate, uphill and downhill, compared to ice skating. Ice skating is very much a flat thing. Yeah, because
you just don't get ice like that. It's too hard to fall and then keep like that. And because it's just so damn slippery, ice itself, like it runs the water would just like flow down. And you can skate up ice, but you can't skate up water.
That's very true.
Anyway.
Yes, some quick...
So Doof...
Yeah, you go.
Oh, you go. He's a warlock. Not a wizard.
Not a witch. A warlock.
Yeah, which is a fair justification, I guess.
They are the
he
same
is green,
thing,
though,
in my opinion.
and looks exactly like the Evil Witch of the West.
Yes. It's a classic parody, Phineas and Ferb style. They've done it with Star Wars. They're probably going to do it with Marvel. I haven't seen those ones yet.
Oh, they're good. We're actually coming up to The Beak, and I'm so keen.
The what?
The Beak. The Beak.
The Beak.
The Beak. It's an episode of Phineas and Ferb.
It's just called
And
The
it
Beak.
plays on. It plays mainly on Superman,
Oh, cool.
but a bit of Iron Man. Kind of.
There's a bit of season 2 is very muddled in terms of my memory because some of the episodes I really remember, some of them I don't really at all.
Season 2 is kind of muddled in general
Mm.
because, like, where the hell did this Wizard of Oz come from?
Yeah, it's not quite as tonally consistent as season 1, 3, and 4. 4's very big in scope. It has crossovers and
towards the end,
two-parters
it
and
just
stuff.
keeps doing the big double part one.
Yeah. And season 3 is very much the more surrealist and witty writing, and then season 1's very classic Phineas and Ferb. Season 2's kind of doing all three of those at once, which isn't a bad thing. I still like it. It's just
Anyway,
less cohesive.
I want to point out in Candace's dream, so Perry goes fight Doof.
Yes.
Okay, classic for us. Not really classic for her, but whatever works. But he recognizes Perry.
Mm.
So Doof is able to recognize Perry. He goes, "You with the boot thief." So he knows the difference. I found it funny that Candace's version of Doofenshmirtz doesn't have facial recognition problems, subject recognition issues.
Yeah.
While the real Doofenshmirtz does.
He would never be able to recognize Perry without the fedora.
Yeah, no, he would have been gone, "Oh, that's Perry the platypus." And then he wouldn't have gone, "Oh, you're the platypus that was with the girl before," because he wasn't wearing the fedora. Yeah.
Yeah.
But because this is Candace's mind and her very limited experience with Doofenshmirtz, she hasn't actually seen it. And so in her image, he would be able to connect those two dots that he can't.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It's
so that was
just interesting. I guess that maybe they didn't have time for one of those jokes, or maybe it wouldn't make sense for Candace to know that. But also, how does she know Perry's a secret agent? Who knows?
But it never comes up that he's a secret agent.
Yeah.
He just wears a hat that has all these cool things.
Okay, true.
So maybe she could just lie that she just was my head in its fever dream thought that a fedora
would
be
look
able
good
to
on
do
Perry.
this
And
cool
to be
thing.
fair, a fedora does look real good on Perry. So
Yeah, exactly. But she's never seen
Mm.
Perry in a fedora.
Not
properly, at least.
Some more quickfire things. When the army of squirrels comes to get Candace, we get a little sample from SIMP, from Simp. Squirrels in my pants.
Squirrels?
And
Just says it twice.
yeah, and there's a couple. That's not the only instance of some old music coming back in a new episode.
Yeah.
They've hit-
There's been times where they've referenced themselves.
They've hit the point where the show's gotten big enough and it's had enough episodes that they can chuck a little bit of fan service in there, which I appreciate. It's good stuff.
Yeah. It's the sort of stuff we're going to pick up on as soon as we see it. We're
Bit
like,
of a reward for the fans. And speaking of a
We were there.
reward for the fans, jumping forward to the episode, jumping forward in the episode, when they get to Bustopolis, there's some more Easter eggs for the fans in what's going on in Bustopolis. We've got
all of that. So
Yeah.
the opening scene of Bustopolis, when it shows everything, all of them are just previous adventures.
you got the roller coaster, you got the baby head, you got the monster trucks, you got
The rocket ship.
you got
There's love handles in there.
yeah, love handles just there.
It's so cool.
Seems pretty
It's
idyllic.
just that they're just doing small references to all the things they've done, and that's what is in Bustopolis. Everything she's missed the bus of.
Good stuff.
She's missed the bus.
Um,
and then
Also relevant to
they
actually no, you go.
they all get their gifts. Is what I was going to talk about.
Yeah.
And each of their gifts.
Yeah, well, I'll actually chuck in before that. When Candace is climbing the steps, it shows that she's climbing a hell of a lot of steps to get up to the top there because she refuses to take the easy way up.
7,500 was one of the numbers at the end.
It says 7,500 steps. Now, after a quick Google, the standard step size is 7 3/4 inches, which is 19.8 centimeters, so just short of 20 centimeters. I rounded up to 20. That means that she climbed upwards 1.5 kilometers.
Did we work out how many stories that is?
What? Give me one sec. What is the standard size
Space.
of a single floor? Around 4.3 meters. So,
Divide that.
hold on. Divided by... Oh, hold on. 1,500 divided by 4.3. Oh. I fucked it. Hold on. 1,500 divided by 4.3 equals... She climbed 348 stories.
Right. Well,
That's a lot of stairs.
Space is 100 kilometers, so she's a bit off that.
Bit off space, but she's certainly quite high up.
What was the highest building? We've Googled this before.
The is it called the Burj Khalifa?
You're right. 828 meters, the Burj Khalifa.
Jeez, so it's taller than the tallest building in the world?
Yeah, so she climbed that, and that is... How many stories in that? It's got 163 stories.
Yeah, so almost exactly
yeah.
half of the 348. That's pretty...
Yeah, but she did, what, a kilometre and a half? How high did she
Yeah,
go?
kilometre and a half.
Fuck, she was really pumping
Yeah,
that.
that is a lot of steps. Well done, Candace.
Can you imagine doing that many steps in your dreams? I guess in dreams it kind of
Time goes, a bit weird. She probably just teleported to the top.
But yeah, anyway, so she gets up there and then she starts getting all the gifts.
The wizard
is,
gets
of
the
course,
gifts.
Mum, but it turns really out to be the boys because she calls Mum. Mum's like, I'm just cooking. And then the boys come out from behind the curtain in The Wizard of Oz. That was the wizard. It was just a normal guy. But it's Phineas and Ferb and this who aren't normal. They
Yes.
proceed to give out the stuff and he's just like, cool's really hard to do, Baljeet, but I do have these sunnies.
And
you can
Baljeet's like,
pretend
that
from
works
there.
for me.
And then he says something cool, like something or other, and clicks his fingers. And he's like, don't overdo it. Oh, that's nice. Phineas already give him tips on how to be cool because he is the coolest person.
Yeah, if anyone can give
and
those out,
then
it's Phineas.
They move on to Jeremy. And they're like, Jeremy, we can't make you stop being a tree.
Because you're not.
But you are delusional.
You're insane.
And I'm like, what?
Plot twist.
What? And then they just take off the zipper in the back and he's a normal guy in underwear. And I am so very confused why that's a thing in Candace's head. Like, what?
Yep.
Why? Why would she imagine, I don't know if his boyfriend exactly at this point, but her crush as a tree?
Yeah, that's very weird. But not as weird as the
Yeah.
fact that Buford wanted nothing, and then turns out he wanted a ham sandwich.
Yeah, I didn't think that was that bad. But he only accepted to take it because they wouldn't shut up, and I feel that. There's a lot of times in, like, conversations where people are like, oh, do you need this? And you're like, no, I'm chill, actually. And they're like, oh, you sure you don't want it? And you're like, no, I don't want it. I don't want a biscuit. And it's like, oh, I'm offering this biscuit. You sure you don't want it? And you'd be like, all right, I'll take the biscuit.
Yeah, but
And then you eat the biscuit, and it's nasty as fuck.
Yeah.
And you wish you didn't eat it.
but then again, when it comes to biscuits, it all depends on the biscuit, doesn't it? Because if you think I'm turning down a Kingston,
Oof.
Never.
Kingstons are the biscuits of gods. I
love a good Kingston.
Kingstons are the best. Aren't just so very good.
So rapid fire stuff, pretty much finish out the entire episode. Wanted to briefly
Real
jump back
quick,
a sec.
Candace's final thing is she gets to talk to Mum. Mum's like, have fun. The whole story that's left with in the episode, which I don't think is the best message, was don't do what people tell you, and follow the path your two younger brothers say is fun. I don't know. Your younger brothers might be into drugs. That sometimes isn't the best idea. I wouldn't recommend it.
Your little brother
Sometimes
might just
the
be a little
path-
idiot. Billy.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. I love you, Billy, if you're listening. He's not, but like if he was.
But like, even if you don't have little brothers like myself, I think it's like a message of don't follow the path. Anyway, I'm just like, sometimes
not a
paths
great
are
message.
nice. We need some society following people, otherwise there wouldn't be a society.
Yeah, true.
Anyway, continue.
A little thing I wanted to jump back and mention before we rounded it off. I really like the joke where they're falling from the blimp and Phineas goes, oh no, they're headed for the sea of razor sharp rock spikes. Good.
See, this wouldn't like that I was a bit phased because I was like, holy crap, they're gonna die. But then I was also like, Phineas doesn't care. That's pretty on point.
He just doesn't care. They'll die. It'll be right.
He wouldn't mind.
And then he goes, good thing it was so badly named, and it's just a mountain range made of pillows.
Inappropriately named, and it's just huge pillows, yeah.
I just knew it was funny.
Which is great. It's the sort of thing I would name things, which is not a good idea. But
but it is funny.
It's funny.
And then we get Candace waking up.
And then we get the most terrifying 2 seconds.
Oh yeah.
That I've ever.
So
seen.
they hop all on a self-balancing unicycle and drive it off a jump, and it's all wholesome.
All sweet. She's learned her lesson. She just wants to have more fun. She's not going to bust her brothers as much.
And then a giant eldritch god duo, Phineas and Ferb, rip down the fabric of space-time, look straight into the camera and say, "Don't forget to have fun."
Yeah, it's fucking terrifying.
terrifying.
That's like the it sort of scene where he like tries to jump out of the camera, except actually scary because you're not expecting it, and they're just like, don't forget, we're still here and we're behind it all, and we have command over everything that's playing in front of your eyes.
Or maybe Candace never
we're
woke
characters and almighty eldritch gods. Please have fun. And you're like, what?
Cthulhu is scared of these two.
And then they immediately undercut that tone with a fucking banger. With Rusted.
Yep. A bit more fan service that's mentioned before. Busted comes back in the form of Rusted. Hilarious.
Yeah. And it's really cool because it actually tells you what rusting is when it oxidizes. And I'm like, oh, neat bit of science in there, kind of.
Good stuff.
It tells you about it. And I'm like, if I was to describe rusting to someone, this is a good way of doing it. You're rusted. And it's the Tin Man. Because the Tin Man from Wizard of Oz, which isn't in the Wizard of Odd, but they just brought Wizard of Oz, Tin Man.
Quite iconic, if you ask me.
All right, and I think that's it for the app.
That's it. Nice quick episode. I also don't want to do any editing, so you're all going to be hearing this as is. There's going to be no cuts. I'm just going to chuck the theme song in.
Oh, I thought you could cut this down for quite well.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Nah, I'm not going through the full thing. I'm too lazy. I've got to get it out too quickly, and I've got too many assessments.
I would just listen, and as soon as you zone out, cut.
Yeah.
And then as soon as you zone back in, cut and remove that bit and see what happens.
Not a bad idea. We'll
anyway.
see. If you're hearing this conversation, you'll know which we've chosen.
Anyway, we've got a little bit of fan mail that I have completely forgotten about.
Oh, have we?
For a while. So James Jenkins, have we spoken about him?
I don't think we have. Hi, James Jenkins.
He's James, and he is from New Zealand.
From New Zealand.
And
Instant
he
respect.
is obviously amazing because New Zealand's great. He's enjoying the podcast and he's been just burning through it.
Good stuff.
I've just worked out some weird stuff, such as Phineas and Ferb was created by Thomas and his friends. And both shows have incredible music. Anyway, he's really into Thomas.
Thomas the Tank Engine?
His friends.
Bro,
Yeah. And
same.
so you remember
Absolutely
when we had
same.
that little crossover thing? He did send in an email. Here it is.
Very nice.
He goes, hello from the Tasman yet again, Joe and Lachlan. To answer the question I might have brought up during my last email, Phineas and Ferb can make artificial life, so I think that Sodo and the locomotives and the rolling stock, they had time to kill, thus Thomas and friends are created by them. So he thinks Thomas the Tank Engine.
I will 100% accept that cinematic universe crossover theory. I was a very big fan of Thomas the Tank Engine when I was a kid, to the point of obsession. I could name...
And he said, again, they both have fantastic music.
Yes, they do.
And...
they both have
he
terrifying
thinks
undertones. They both have terrifying undertones. Very first episode of Thomas the Tank Engine, they just leave a train to die. He gets stuck in a tunnel, so they just seal up the tunnel. It's terrifying.
Fuck, that's terrifying.
Yeah, these are living beings.
Also, in episode 25, we're talking about the teleporter.
Yes.
And he has a theory, which is first the things are scanned and then analyzed with energy within the object to supercharge, turning it to gas, so it vaporizes the thing you're trying to get.
Mm-hmm.
It is then replicated in the desired location, and the transfer of power in the thing is entirely absorbed. This includes gravitational force dissipating the energy, allowing the machine to repeat the process / your teleporter. Signed, James, your cross-Tasman man, which
Very
is
nice.
great.
Congrats,
He is
you.
the only person who followed through with the out. Remember you tried to start that?
Oh yeah.
Your cross-Tasman man.
Yep.
Yeah. You also forgot about it.
I did. Yeah.
But I'm glad this man didn't forget about it. So thank you, our cross Tasman man.
Yes. Very nice. The official.
I do talk to him about that theory as well. But if you want to have a conversation with us as well,
You know where to write in.
feel free.
Yeah.
To write in too. That's your cue.
Oh, that's my
Do
cue.
it.
I thought you were going to do it.
No, I set it up perfectly.
Yeah. Write into the implications of Phineas and Ferb at gmail.com. That is our email. You can also hit us up on the Twitter _Ferb. I have notifications on for Twitter. It's probably the best way to reach me. You can also find us technically on Reddit and TikTok. Those are both in the description.
Oh.
And implications of Phineas and Ferb on Instagram is us. We're also fairly frequently on there. Usually it's Joe.
Yeah,
usually I leave it
Instagram
alone.
is a good spot.
Yeah, usually I leave the
I
Instagram alone.
am on that for the memes I get sent by you and Zach. So
Good memes. And yeah, that's about it. Thank you for tuning in. We will probably be back to our weekly upload at least for a little bit because I'm going to be on a break starting in a couple of days. So that'll be nice.
But yes, we will try.
We'll try our best. Thank you so much for listening. And Joe, I know what we've done
Hit
today.
the outro. I know what we've done today.
Outro button.
The implications of Phineas and Ferb. Listen to it whenever you can.